It's time for Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt. Todd Marquardt, attorney at law in Texas. If you're a millionaire or a thousandaire, Talk Law Radio is now on the air. Call in with your business law question, your elder law question, veteran aid, Medicaid, build a business to get paid. 210-308-8867. Or ask a question online at marquardtlawfirm.com. That's MARQUARDT lawfirm.com. And now it's Talk Law Radio with Todd Marquardt.
Howdy, San Antonio and Houston on KLUP 930 AM and 630 KSLR on Saturdays at 11 o'clock in the morning and Sundays at 4:30 on 930 AM The Answer. Also on podcasts everywhere, Facebook, YouTube, and talklawradio.com. Today we're going to be talking about resolutions and goals because many of us have probably stopped following our New Year resolution. And it also happens to be rodeo season, so Melody and I dressed the part, and I forgot to tell Joseph. So we're just trying to be festive today. Nice. We're going to start with the financial focus with Joseph Warren, financial planner with Financial Planning HQ. We like to talk about the financial focus. So give us an idea of what you're going to teach us today.
Yeah, I like to stick with the theme, and I really love today's theme, Todd, about sticking with your New Year's resolutions. So I think I'm going to talk about that and how it relates to people's finances and good financial habits.
So how does it relate to the financial world?
Great question, Todd. So by now, I think you all know, if you go to the gym, it's starting to thin out. On January 1st, it was full, right? But now it's starting to thin out. But the statistics actually show, and y'all might have different statistics, but mine shows 88% of people have already given up on their New Year's resolutions by February. So when we look at people's finances, I think it's very similar to fitness and things like that, because everyone knows what to do, right? We all know when it comes to being healthy, you need to eat right and exercise.
I went to the gym one year on January 1st, and that was it. Yeah. Just one day.
You made it.
I fell off the wagon.
Yeah, and that's actually normal because the environment around us is not designed to help us make good decisions. There's a lot of money to be made in people eating junk food and people making bad financial decisions, spending money they don't have. So you have to flip the script on that, and that's something we look to do as financial planners. We flip the script so that you have a system where it's easy to make the right decision and hard to make the wrong decision when it comes to your money.
Yeah, systems are good. Your dad was talking about all the systems that Apollo 11 had to have in order to get to the moon.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about some of these systems?
Yeah, I'd love to. But I kind of want to preface a little bit because it's something we study a lot is how to get people to take action on what they want to accomplish, because it's not something that's second nature. It's built into our human nature that most people will not stick with their resolutions, and that's almost by design. So really, if you want to do that, you have to have an emotional reason why. That's a huge part of it, and I'm sure, have you seen that as well? So the emotional reason why is where we start in the process. So the first conversation we have is something called the value staircase. And to give you an idea, like someone might have a financial goal, say just like a generic goal, I want to retire at age 65. That's very surface level. We don't know why that person wants to retire. Mm-hmm. They may hate their boss, they may this or that. But really, we look to dig deep to start and get those emotional reasons why. And we'll hear I want to cherish my time with loved ones. I've seen loved ones pass away and we didn't expect it. And I want to cherish my time with my grandkids and the people in my life. Or I never want to miss one of my grandson's baseball games. You really get to that deep emotional reason. And the reason we do that is because that helps people to actually stick with it. So there's been studies that show that when you have an intrinsic or an internal reason for doing something, you're more likely to keep doing it. So if someone's setting New Year's resolutions, it's good to be like, why do I want to do this? Why do I want to get in shape? Why do I want to have better financial habits? And then once you have those whys, remember them, because that's what's going to keep you going on February 1st when it's cold outside and you want to go to the gym.
Right. Yeah, emotional reasons. Yeah. And I brought some books with me, Atomic Habits and No Fail Habits and 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah.
What do you use to pair habits with systems and emotions?
Yeah, so the emotional part is great, but you're not going to get there on feeling alone, of course. So next we talk about people's goals. That's the next step in that first meeting that we have with a potential client. And, I just said goals are surface level, and they're great. It's good to have very specific goals, and that's where we start. Like, what's the date that you want to reach this goal, the exact date, the dollar amount, how will you feel when you achieve it? But the main thing we do with that goal afterwards, if we work with someone, is we create an action list, and that becomes the system. So it's a prioritized list of step-by-step actions to take with a date, person responsible, and then we actually track that. I think that's a huge part as well, is the tracking of if you're making progress towards your goal. That's another form of motivation that I've found.
If you measure it, you can manage it.
Exactly, and you know if you're doing well, so you know if you're making progress or not, or if you need to pivot or do something else. So, yeah.
My dad also said that when you write down your goals, there's magic that goes from the pen to your finger to your brain.
Yeah, I love that.
That's in this book too.
Oh, really? Brian Tracy. Yeah, these are some legends here.
Right.
That's awesome.
Okay, so tell us more about these systems.
Yeah. So with the goals as well, so we want to combine math with logic. So we'll actually put someone's complete financial situation into a computer software that allows us to run scenarios or simulations of different things they can do. So then the action list is just not like, do that because I said so. And we found that when you do that, when you try to motivate people that way, like I'm the authority, I know all about finance. So if you save this amount of money, you're going to be good. They don't want to do it. So we also get the client's input as well. So we say, what do you think about saving or investing this amount per a month towards this goal?
Yeah, my kids have this rule. It's called "Don't Tell Me What to Do."
Yeah. It's the same thing with adults. If you try to go outside and tell an adult, like move out of the way or something, they're going to get mad. We have a natural thing, which I think might be good, where we're not just going to automatically say, this person seems like they have authority. I'm just going to do what they say. You want them to be a partner in it so that it's their ideas as well, because then if they don't follow through with the plan, that creates something called cognitive dissonance, which means that you'll actually have an uncomfortable feeling not following through with your plan because you said you were going to.
I have an uncomfortable feeling every morning. I have a standing appointment that pops up on my phone at 4:30 a.m. It says, walk the dogs.
Yeah.
And every morning at 4:30 a.m., I don't walk the dogs. So hopefully, Melody, you'll help me with that later.
We'll do our best.
Yep. But yeah, it's one of those things, like I know I've been there as well. There's been times I really wanted to do something, but I didn't stick with it. So you really have to design it so it's hard to do the wrong thing, like it's uncomfortable to make a bad decision. So some of these systems, a lot of people come to me. Sometimes people will say they want to have a better budget. They're spending money and they wish they weren't spending as much as they're spending. We help clients with that. An easy system is we'll use a tracker. So there's a website that I really like. I'm not getting any money, but they're called monarch.com. And all you do is you connect your accounts and it'll show you exactly where your money's going. And then from there you can set a budget, but more importantly, you know where your money is going. So there's no lying with, I'm spending this amount of money per month at Amazon. Just an example, like fitness-wise, have you guys heard of like the InBody test where it tells you how much body fat you have?
Have you?
Have you guys tried that? Where you hold the two things like this and it kind of tells you like...
I haven't. Back in high school, they used to have these pinchers.
Yeah.
And they would like pinch different parts on your body. And however thick that was, that they could calculate your body fat that way.
Yep. No, now you can just there's some type of electrical current. You hold these two things right here. You stand up straight, barefoot, and it'll tell you this is the exact amount of grams of fat you have in your body.
Okay.
And that was very motivating for me. And that may not be motivating for other people. I've talked to people before and they say that sounds horrible. I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. Right. But it's finding out the person's personality, what's important to them and what's motivating to them. And for me, seeing, my amount of muscle went up, my amount of fat went down month after month is motivating for me and it keeps me going. And then I'm excited to go there. It's almost like a ritual and see, did I lose any fat? Did I make any progress this month? It makes it a lot more motivating for me when it's, there's a bunch of Oreos in my face and I need to eat them.
Right.
I'm I don't want to eat a bunch of Oreos and then I do that test and I failed. That would hurt more to me, then it would feel good to eat a bunch of Oreos.
Right. Same thing with the scale, I guess.
Yeah, the scale. But what I found there is the tracking is very important because with a scale, you can lie to yourself. So I could go to the sauna, I could dehydrate myself, I could do like the weight cutting that people do.
Right.
And then it's really just water weight. So really like having a tracking system that's, for sure. And that's what we have for our clients. So they can look at their website and they can see this is the amount of money I have saved for this goal. And this is what it's projected to be. It has a shortfall of this amount. And not only that, when we see that, we get alerts and we'll come up with a course correction of this is exactly what you need to do to get back on track.
Okay, so once you have all that, how do you tie that in with all the other experts?
Yeah, so I want you to think about your team of financial experts. It might be hard to do as like a pro football team, right? Your CPA, your lawyer, your financial planner, all these people are like this pro football team. And just imagine that they weren't playing from the same playbook, right? They wouldn't get anything done. They wouldn't be able to make the plays. They'd run into each other on the field. So our role is to really quarterback everything and make sure that everybody knows the playbook or the strategy, the emotional reason why the client wants to achieve what they want to achieve, what their exact goals are. And so they're all working in unison to get the client there. And it becomes more powerful when it's not just our ideas, my ideas. It's, a CPA looked at this tax strategy. A lawyer looked at this estate planning strategy, right? So that's a huge part of it. And yeah.
Okay, and do you have any resources this week?
I do. I have a checklist that has financial habits that are easy to implement and that can be automated and will really improve your financial situation. And for anyone who gives me a call at 210-444-2128. That's 210-444-2128. I'll run through that with you. We can have a meeting, complimentary consultation, and just go through those habits and see if we can make some slight improvements in your finances for 2026, but really that can impact you for the rest of your life.
Thank you for the financial focus, Joseph Warren, Financial Planning HQ.
Really happy to be on. Great to meet you all.
Are you confident about your financial future? What if you had a clear financial roadmap and a team holding you accountable to make the best financial decisions no matter what? At Financial Planning HQ, Steve and his sons, Joseph and Jacob, have been helping San Antonio families since 1987 with inspiring, intelligent financial strategies. Whether it's achieving or maintaining financial independence, becoming more tax efficient, or building business wealth, we create a comprehensive, written lifetime financial strategy that's uniquely yours, based entirely on what's important to you. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Call Financial Planning HQ today at 210-685-2722. That's 210-685-2722. And take the first step towards financial clarity. That's Financial Planning HQ, inspiring financial strategies for San Antonio. Remember, 210-685-2722. What if you couldn't speak for yourself? A power of attorney ensures someone you trust can act on your behalf. I'm attorney Todd Marquardt. Let's put your plan in place now. Schedule your free consultation at marquardtlawfirm.com or call 210-530-4278. That's 210-530-4278. Do it before you die. Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with Melody Smith. We're talking about resolutions and goals, and we'll talk about nutrition a little bit and some sinners and saints and legacy. Just want to let you know why we're wearing Western wear today. It's rodeo season here in San Antonio, and of course the season is going to be in Houston as well. So if you're listening from Houston, post a comment or email me at host@talklawradio.com. Melody's back. She's been on the show a couple of times. Last August, we talked about the homelessness in Washington, D.C. and what President Trump was trying to do there. So if you're interested in what Melody had to say about that, find that episode, August 2025, homeless in Washington, D.C. And last October, we talked about separation of church and state. I always love to hear your perspective on faith, God, and Jesus. So feel free to let us know how those impact your goal setting.
Okay.
So welcome back.
Thank you.
So today I want to reintroduce you to people that don't yet know you. And the bio you sent me is Melody is a mother of two and general manager of a Pilates studio here in San Antonio. But before that, you spent 6 years in church ministry where you oversaw outreach and hospitality programs. So give us an introduction to goals and resolutions. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. I really enjoy personally setting goals, and I really enjoy helping other people to reach their goals. That's why a few years ago, I decided I wanted to do nutrition coaching, really because I just wanted to help other people get where they wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And as we all know, change is very hard. Have you ever tried to change yourself?
Yes, constantly.
Have you ever tried to walk the dogs at 4:30 a.m.? It's hard.
I used to do it, so I know that I can.
Right. Yes, but why is it so hard?
Tell us.
Yeah, I don't know. It's because,
Psychology.
like Joseph said, there's a lot of obstacles, and it's just hard to change habits. I think we're just creatures of habit, and that's why people write books about how to change your habits, because you need some tools and you need some support, and a system is really good to have.
So tell us why you like to set goals.
It makes me happy. It gives me something to strive for. It makes me feel good about myself. It makes me feel hopeful about the future. There's a lot of great reasons to set goals.
I like to win.
And being competitive is a great reason to set goals too. Yeah, I like to win too.
Okay, tell us what book you have with you today.
I brought Goals by Brian Tracy, and I read this last year. It was given to me by my boss, who's very much a mentor to me, and I absolutely love this book. I carry it with me now all the time, and I preach a lot of this to my kids, and they act like they're not listening, but I know it's sinking in there. But it's interesting that a lot of what Joseph was saying in his approach, he's a financial planner, but it sounds very much like he's a coach.
Right.
You know,
he would love that you said that.
Yeah, well, let him know. Yeah, he is very much a coach. And so, those principles can be applied to any type of goal that you're setting, whether it's financial goals or health and fitness goals.
Okay. Well, before we get into it very far, the famous MC Hammer used to say, we've got to pray just to make it today. So I'm going to say a prayer. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for all the gifts and blessings that you give to us. Please forgive us for our sins, for our mistakes, for doing the wrong thing or failing to follow your will. Help us to follow your will more closely. And help Melody and me give good information to the listeners about goals, resolutions, and nutrition today. Help us to do everything we do for the good of your people, for our own good, and for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I like to use AI, specifically Grok from Twitter X. And so I asked Grok, what resolutions did people have this year? And what do you think?
Probably weight loss, right? Probably financial goals, I would guess.
Yeah. So there was a survey by YouGov, and 31% of Americans plan to make New Year's resolutions. And of those, 25% said they wanted to exercise more. 23% said they wanted to be happy.
Okay.
22% said eat healthier. 21% said save more money. And 21% said improving physical health. So those are probably year in and year out what people talk about. In the United States, people are concerned about their appearance. They're concerned about being healthy enough to do things and having enough money to buy things. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why people usually have those goals. What are some reasons that the people that you've helped in goal setting and setting resolutions, what what are the reasons that they have the goals that they do?
That's a good question. I talk to a lot of people who, well, especially at the studio, I get to talk to mostly women, but not just women, a lot of men too, who say very similar things. I'm ready to make a change. I feel like I'm aging. I have had a hard time sticking to things in the past, but I really want to exercise and get healthy. And we hear, because from a lot of young mothers who have kids and their own health gets put on the back burner. They're putting everybody else first. We hear from a lot of grandparents who say, I just want to be able to get on the floor with my grandkids. And so we hear a lot of different whys. Most of it is pretty practical. I want to be able to play with my grandkids, right?
Right. And I meet with a lot of older people in my office doing estate planning, and they say they're trying to walk, usually a lot of walking.
Walking is great.
Just so that they can be mobile. You know, they don't want to have to use a walker. They don't want to be in a wheelchair. My dad has this rule that if you're doing the stairs, every step you take is a certain number of days that you won't have to use a walker or a wheelchair.
I like that.
And I don't remember what the number was, but so we have competitions to see, you know, how many stairs we can take. If we're together and somebody wants to take the elevator, will you get shamed for that?
You should get shamed. There's a book called Take the Stairs.
Oh, okay.
And it's about not taking the easy route and just doing the hard thing, because in the long run, it benefits you.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah. And I'm joking. You should not be shamed for taking an elevator if you need to take an elevator.
Right.
But if you're able to take the stairs, why not?
Shame is not fun to have. In fact, the Christian faith is based on having no shame.
Yep.
Right?
Amen to that.
So what resolution or goal will you admit to everybody out here in Radio Land that you struggle with? If you say something, I'll say something about myself.
Yeah, plenty. I always tell myself I'm going to pack my lunch the night before and I will have good food to eat. And I almost never follow through on that. I'll get stuff ready for the kids, you know, take care of the animals or whatever, but I have a really hard time packing my own lunch the night before. And then it's not going to happen in the morning. We just don't have time.
Right. No, I've been in that season before. Now what I like to do for lunch is I buy the vegetable medley bag from H-E-B, and I just eat broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots. I have this philosophy that if it doesn't taste good, you won't eat much of it. And it doesn't last long. You know, it's hard to get through the day. But if I have a heavy meal, then I get tired.
Okay.
And so the vegetables aren't heavy. I might eat a sausage stick. After that, protein helps last a little longer to get through the day. And then I eat real food for dinner.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to admit my eating habits. If I don't pack my lunch, I sometimes will go way too long without eating and then eat a really heavy meal at the end of the day. This is not a recommendation. This is something that I want to correct.
Yeah. Well, why don't you just eat what the kids eat? You know, you could
that's
just
a great question.
pack their lunches and then you pack the same thing for yours.
That would make too much sense, Todd. I feel like that would make it too easy.
Well, the resolution I really struggle with is walking the dog. I walk Lexi because she's with me at the office, but she spends a lot of her time being curious about smells and the plants, and she likes to pretend that she's a police dog, and she'll circle a car, and I don't know what she's looking for, but that's not much exercise for me. I have these other two big dogs that I used to walk in the morning, and that's a faster pace. So that's what I'd like to get back to. Okay, another question. What resolution or goal are you really proud of achieving?
I am really proud that I was able to take my kiddos on a trip last year. And that was a big goal for me as a single mom. Taking the kids on an out-of-state trip by myself is that was our first time going out of state, just me and the kids. So, I'm really proud of that. We had a great time.
There's a lot of steps that have to go into that.
Yes. Yeah.
We're running out of time for this segment, but I'll start the next segment with a goal that I was proud to achieve. This is Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt, and Melody Smith, who is a manager at a Pilates studio, is talking to us about goals and resolutions. We'll talk about nutrition next a little bit too, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. Last segment, we were talking about goals and resolutions, and Melody shared with us a goal that she struggles with and a goal that she was happy to achieve. And I talked about a goal that I struggled with, and now I want to tell you what goal I was happy to achieve. Years ago, my office lease was ending, and I could stay in the same place, I could find a new place, but part of my financial plan was to buy my own office space. And it's like buying a house, except it's more challenging because banks have different criteria that they look for in deciding whether they think that you're going to pay them back. So I had a really fantastic banker that I had known for a long time before that, and she helped me, and it was very stressful, and everything that I went through to achieve that was well worth it. And so that's my biggest achievement so far. The next thing that I want to do, though, is Lexi had been training for agility, where they run through the tunnel and over the ramp and on the balance beam.
Around the cones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the weave. She needs to practice that. But then I got tired of driving to all of these different venues where they have a practice field set up for agility. And so we did that for about a year, and we had never gone to competition. She wants to win, but you have to sign up first. And of course, now we're going to have to go practice a little bit, to be brought up to speed. So that was a little bit of exercise for me. I wasn't an athlete as a kid.
Okay.
I was in the band.
What'd you play?
Saxophone.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so I never really got into that habit of exercising. Have you always been exercising and into fitness your whole life? Is that a lifelong habit?
Yeah, it has. I started playing sports in like junior high because my best friend was being forced by her parents to play basketball. So she begged me to play with her. And then I just fell in love. Ever since then, I played sports. And after, I was done with that, I've always done strength training or I got really into running for a time. So I've gone through different phases with it, but I've always been active and pretty competitive.
That makes it easy. It's a lifelong habit.
Yeah, I guess so. I think, I'm kind of just wired that way, though, so I can't sit still, even if I wanted to. I kind of have to get up and move. So I have a standing desk at work, and it helps me to be more productive.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's talk a little bit about nutrition. You, at one time, got a certification in nutrition coaching. Tell us what that was like. Yeah,
that was I did it for a couple of reasons. I wanted to help people reach their goals, and also I wanted to learn more about nutrition. And it's like equivalent to like a personal trainer certification. Anybody can go and get certified online in a month or a couple of months. And I I appreciated what I learned through it. But the system that you're taught to help people reach their goals was very similar to what Joseph was describing with his financial planning. Digging deep and first uncovering really the deeper reasons of why somebody wants to change. Why do they want to change their eating habits? And usually that is a deep conversation to have with people, because for a lot of people, it's been a lifelong struggle, or they've tried and failed so many times that it's this big mental hurdle now. It just feels so daunting. And anyway, there's a system. You get down to the why, and then come up with a plan, just like he was describing, have a specific plan. And then a huge factor of success is going to be accountability. So having that coach, like, he helps to keep his people accountable by showing them exactly where their money's going, getting on the scale or whatever it is. Having that accountability is going to be a big indicator of success.
Okay. I always heard it this way. How do you eat an elephant? One bite
at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have a friend that lives out in California that I visit sometimes, and he always talks about, well, what can you do? Start small. He calls it the gradient scale, and then you build up to achieving bigger and bigger things. So tell us a little bit about the nutrition stuff that you learned.
It's pretty basic. So, you learn like the kind of main guidelines, how your body processes different types of foods. You learn what your body does when you consume fats, carbohydrates, proteins, why each of that is important for our body. And so it helps to be able to really, a nutrition coach's role really should be to help educate and help the clients come up with a plan to reach their goal.
What about all the fad diets out there, like keto, intermittent fasting, Mediterranean, paleo, vegan, plant-based, formerly known as vegetarian, DASH, Whole30, flexitarian, carnivore? I like carnivore. Which one do you like?
It's something funny about that. I actually have, my two children. One's about to be 15. My daughter's 8. One of them wants to be all carnivore diet, my son, and then my daughter wants to be a vegetarian. So it's interesting cooking for them. They need to eat both. They need to eat meats and vegetables. But I think we don't know enough about, is one diet better than another, because our biology is so different from person to person that one person may be extremely healthy as a vegetarian. I know a woman who's in her 80s who had an autoimmune disease, and she says decades ago a doctor told her to eat only a vegetarian diet, and she's been healthy ever since.
Yeah.
And then I've heard stories where people have been cured of autoimmune diseases by going on an all carnivore diet. So I just think people's biology is so different.
Yeah.
There isn't a one size fits all. I think you have to kind of understand how your body reacts to different foods.
That makes sense. One of the sponsors for the national radio shows is PhD weight loss. And that's what they talk about, at least in their ads. I've never called, but finding out how your body processes food. But that sounds like a lot of information to try and figure out on your own.
Yeah, I recommend, if somebody has really if someone struggled for years or even decades to find what's the best diet, they should see a dietitian. But a dietitian is going to give you more like a prescription. And then someone who can help you along with that would be a nutrition coach who can take that information from your dietitian that's more scientific and dialed in and help you apply that in your day-to-day.
Okay. Have you heard of the biblical diets? The one I know the best is the Daniel diet. The book of Daniel where Daniel and his friends ate only vegetables or plants and water for periods of 10 or 21 days, avoiding meat, processed food, sugar, leavened bread. Have you tried any of the biblical diets?
I haven't, but I would. I would do a Daniel fast. I haven't yet. There was a group at the church who've done it before.
Okay.
And they liked it, and they've done it several times. So I assume if you're coming back again, it probably worked pretty well the first time.
Right. How about all the supplements that are sold on TV, radio, online? The one that shows up in my Facebook feed all the time is the Chuck Norris Roundhouse Provisions. I guess because I'm a middle-aged male.
Yeah. So sidebar, I went to get water the other day at H-E-B before the huge freeze. And I just needed a few jugs of water, and they were almost entirely out of water, except for this one jug of Chuck Norris water.
Oh, really?
I didn't know Chuck Norris had water.
I didn't either.
So I had to buy it, and it was fine. It was like alkaline water or something. But yeah. What was your question?
What about the supplement
supplements.
fads?
Yeah, I just don't think there's enough testing on supplements. I've gone through periods where I've done like whey proteins and things like that, but they have a lot of times metals in them. There's just not a ton of data to support like some of these different supplement fads. So I would not waste my money personally. I haven't wasted my money on supplements other than like a multivitamin in quite a while.
I was just going to ask that. Or do vitamins help out over-the-counter type?
Yeah, I think that they fill in some of the gaps in our diet if you're missing some specific, vitamins or minerals. So it's always helpful to have a multivitamin.
The multivitamin that I used to take, and this is no endorsement because I can't claim that I was any healthier or better, but USANA was claimed to be the pharmaceutical grade vitamin.
Okay.
They were the purity and all of the different percentages of the different vitamins was tested and verified.
Okay. Are you taking those now?
No, that's another thing that I've lapsed on. But we have to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about legacy. Todd Marquardt and Melody Smith. Stay tuned. Are you 100% confident that no matter what happens in the financial markets, economy, or world events, you will achieve your financial goals? If not, we have a process to get your financial house in perfect order and keep it that way forever. Your financial future shouldn't be a guessing game. Planning, advice, organization, and accountability are deliverables you should expect. For over 35 years, Financial Planning HQ has been San Antonio's trusted partner for comprehensive written lifetime financial strategies. Steve and his team, including sons Joseph and Jacob, don't believe in a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, they create a personalized financial roadmap for you based on what's important to you. As an independent registered investment advisor, they're not tied to any big corporation's products. They work for you, creating inspiring, intelligent financial strategies that put your interests first. Call Financial Planning HQ at 210-685-2722. That's 210-685-2722. What if you couldn't speak for yourself? A power of attorney ensures someone you trust can act on your behalf. I'm attorney Todd Marquardt. Let's put your plan in place now. Schedule your free consultation at marquardtlawfirm.com or call 210-530-4278. That's 210-530-4278. Do it before you die. Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt on the radio, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on talklawradio.com. If you have a topic that you want me to talk about, go to talklawradio.com, and there's a button there that says, I want to be a guest. So click that and enter your contact information. There will be a little box where you let me know what you want to talk about. Or if you just have a topic about the law that you're really interested in or that you're really frustrated about, email me at host@talklawradio.com. That's HOST@talklawradio.com. Today we're talking about resolutions and goals with Melody Smith, who is a former certified nutrition coach, and current manager of a Pilates studio. We'll have her back with the Pilates owner to talk more specifically about what that is. But today we're talking about goals and resolutions, and we're talking a little bit about nutrition. And now I want to talk about the inverted food pyramid that, I don't know, the news made me think that President Trump invented this, but he probably didn't.
I really don't know.
So there's a picture of it there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so at the top is protein, dairy, and healthy fats, vegetables, and fruits. And he calls it the Eat Real Food dietary guideline. And so based on what you learned in nutrition years ago, right? Mm-hmm. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been several years.
It was probably the regular food pyramid then, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't very popular. The regular food pyramid wasn't a very popular concept even like then. Mm-hmm. It was criticized quite a bit.
Okay, where you have like all grain at the bottom.
Right.
Supposed to eat lots of grain.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people don't like to eat bread now. Let me tell you about my granddad. He said, avoid the 3 white poisons. And most people tend to think about narcotics, but his 3 white poisons were sugar, salt, and flour.
Okay, fair.
So I'll talk more about what I remember about his meals in just a few minutes. But what do you like about the new food guideline pyramid?
I like that there's more emphasis on whole foods for sure. Processed foods are not good for you. And there's more studies now that are coming out showing that like deli meat is linked to all kinds of illnesses. I avoid processed meats like that as much as I can. I do like pepperonis on my pizza from time to time, but they're not good for you. Now bacon, should I not say this one out loud? This would be very unpopular. Yeah. We're look into bacon, guys. Don't. But yeah, I like it better. And I've been seeing recently, I'm about to buy my own flour mill. And they're not that expensive. You can have one that sits on your countertop. And what I've learned recently is that like bread used to be very nutritious because like our ancestors used the whole wheat berry to create that flour. And it had enzymes and proteins. And it was really nutritious for you. Well, to make wheat more shelf stable, companies stripped it of all the nutrients, so it just became a filler. Right. And then they re-enriched it with nutrients, and it's just not the same. And we have gluten intolerance and all kinds of things because we're not getting any nutrition from our bread that you buy at the store. But I'll report back later. Okay. I really do want to get, and I've already done quite a bit of research on this. I'm going to get a flour mill and start making some of my own bread because bread isn't bad. I think that it's the way we process our flour here in America specifically. Because other countries aren't like that.
Does it take all day to do all that?
If it does, I'm not going to do it. But it does online. It doesn't look that hard.
Okay. That's going to be a super fun hobby.
Thanks. Yeah. How hard can it be, right?
How about artificial dyes? Like in Kool-Aid and in food. I saw that they were going to take the dye out of Doritos and Cheetos, and they were going to be more of a pale color.
Yeah, I hope they do. I don't know why we would have something that's a known poison in our food. If we know it makes us sick, why are we still adding this to foods? But I understand it's also marketing. It's bright orange, and I guess people are used to that at this point. But I grew up on Kool-Aid, I was talking to my kids about this recently. We ate Kool-Aid, we drank Kool-Aid. Like, it was a big part of my childhood.
Right.
And I've never given my kids Kool-Aid once in their lives. But there's a lot of things that I just, we didn't know better then that we ate. And now we
Right.
do know better, so we don't.
Yeah. Well, I had heard that the red was especially bad, that maybe it caused ADHD or something like that.
I've read some things about that too. Yeah.
Well, I think it's okay to have a regulation. Usually I don't want the government to interfere in my life, but the marketplace of competition is not making us healthier.
Right. I agree with you on that. Limited government is better in my opinion. But I think we have to know what's being sold to us, so that transparency is important.
Okay, so now I want to talk about legacy.
And now,
Mark,
it's
are
time
you going
for
to play
Talk
the
Law
legacy?
Radio Legacy
Okay.
Spotlight. What's your legacy? Sponsored by Marquardt Law Firm.
All right, so some of what I remember about my own family legacy is the meals that we shared together. My mom passed away a few years ago, but I still like to remember her by remembering the food that she made. And she was very much make it from scratch person. Even though she was a single mom, she would wake up at 4:30 in the morning, work the whole day, come home, do all the cooking, and then tell us to get in bed. So she made a lot of good food. My favorite is the Mississippi mud cake.
Ooh.
It's
Okay.
more of like a fudge, and it's probably got too much sugar for somebody my age, but I still eat it at least once a year. After my dad's mom died, my granddad, who I was mentioning before, avoid the 3 white poisons, he would cook for himself what he called goulash. And it was usually fish or chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, grapes, and cantaloupe. So he would cook everything in the pot together except for the fruits. And then he would
Okay.
just put the fruit in there later. And I remember seeing him at the kitchen table eating his goulash right out of the pot.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's what happens if a guy has to live on his own and he's 80 years old.
Just whatever's in the refrigerator.
Well, that's how I came up with Todd's Tacos. Is my kids all left, and so I only had to cook for myself. So I opened up the refrigerator doors and say, well, what can I put in a tortilla? And I know tortillas have fat and all that, and not supposed to eat them, but that's how Todd's Tacos got started. For my mom's mom, she was famous for her lasagna. And it also was kind of funny, when I was a little kid, I used to read the comics that came out of the newspaper, and on the first page was Garfield.
Eating lasagna.
Yeah, eating lasagna. So tell us, what are some legacy stories that you can remember of family meals, favorite foods that you all shared together?
Yeah. Food at my mom's was very different than food at my dad's. He was very bachelor. We ate pancakes for dinner a lot with my dad. But my mom had a couple of really good kind of go-to meals. We did chicken and dumplings a lot, and I've gone to her as an adult for her chicken and dumplings recipe a few times. And she also had a delicious fudge that she made. And she could still make it. She hasn't made it in a while. If you're watching this, Mom, you should make some fudge. But those are like the two kind of standouts.
Yeah, my dad, after church, he would take us to Kentucky Fried Chicken. We'd get the bucket of chicken and whatever pie, cherry pie, apple pie, and all the sides, coleslaw, the biscuits with the honey packets, and I forget what other sides there were. I just remember the coleslaw. But that was a staple of his because he didn't like to cook. It was only after my brother and I were old enough to work the stove that he started to buy Hamburger Helper, which I'm sure is not healthy because it's just a powder that comes in a box and you put it on the hamburger.
Yeah, but we had Hamburger Helper growing up a lot too, and I loved it. Beef stroganoff, it was good.
Right. Yeah, but now we know better, so we have to do better.
Mm-hmm.
My mom had, like, I don't know, maybe 50 cookbooks. Do you use cookbooks?
No, but I go to recipes online.
Online?
Yeah, and a lot of times I just wing it, and then I just learn as I go.
Oh,
so
wow.
not all of my meals are great, but it's trial and error.
Yeah, well, that's kind of fun. What kind of taco should I cook next?
I don't know why fish tacos come into my mind. Fish tacos.
What kind of fish?
Do a whitefish. Do flounder.
Okay. I'll get it fresh from H-E-B. I need to quit mentioning H-E-B. You need to become a sponsor of the show, H-E-B. So you've been learning a lot about goals and resolutions and nutrition from Melody Smith. And we've been talking about some of the new laws, which is the inverted food pyramid that President Trump is probably going to take credit for. It just seems like that there's other people that know more about food than he does. But hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know what you think. Thank you for joining us. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yeehaw!
Yeah.
Talk to you later.